Welcome to GAA Sports Talk. I am your host, Alex Gain, and tonight with me I have Matt Loader from Calgary, a good buddy of mine, knows his stuff. Tonight we're going to be talking about the NHL playoffs. We're going to be talking about the coaching changes in the NHL, Robbie Rogers, and what happened in the Canada-US rematch on Sunday. I forget what else. The Jays and Tim Tebow. We're going to be touching on all these subjects. We'll get into it. Generally, I'd like to have four guys with me. The two guys that I had scheduled had scheduling conflicts. One had a family emergency. The other one had work. So Matt, how are you doing tonight?
I am not bad.
By the way, we're up to 3 viewers. Let's just get this fucking out of the way. So, welcome to the 3 viewers that we have. We'll get more as this goes along. Just 2 of us, right? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start. For you, what's the biggest surprises of the NHL playoffs and disappointments in the NHL playoffs so far?
So far, San Jose not coming out of LA. The way they pushed against LA throughout that whole series, I could seriously said that they were going to win the Battle of California. Mm-hmm. I would have liked to see San Jose come out. You know, after the past 3 playoff runs they've had, they have been screwed going into it, and they do have a strong team every year. They just never have that clinching finish.
It seems like all the heat that Joe Thornton has taken in the past, it seems like he really stepped up in that series for me. Personally, I thought he did. I thought he stepped up and played well.
He did, but we see when I was looking at it, it was Patrick Marleau.
Yeah.
It was Marleau. I was absolutely leading that team where it should have been. It was and Couture and these guys that you don't expect to step up and take the role that Joe Thornton had. Mm-hmm. But they were going with it and running with it and taking it further than I thought they would.
Yeah. Well, what about what have you really been excited about for the playoffs?
Chicago making that comeback again after making their huge start to the season.
Yeah. That was a nice comeback. I didn't really catch all those games, but definitely was something I was interested in watching. I mean, they played really well in the last 3 games there.
Yeah. What was your most shocking moment so far of the playoffs?
My most shocking moment, I think, was the collapse. I'm going to say it, the collapse of the Maple Leafs. I'm a huge Maple Leaf fan, so that was pretty bad. Other than that, beyond that, the refereeing has been, I think, just completely awful. And I say that, I know those guys are supposed to be the elite of their profession. I've seen fucking referees in Tyke make better calls, right? They've been bad.
And I can agree with you there.
All the way from, that game in Montreal or a game in Ottawa against Montreal where they took that face-off to the wrong side. I mean, that's a rookie mistake. And for 4 veteran officials of the NHL, that can't happen. And to me, that was kind of the breaking point. There's been a couple other calls. They've been letting a lot of stuff go. I read an article today, actually, about how it's gone back, and it really has. It's gone back to the grab-and-hold style, and at least Boston seems to be playing that style, which really hurts. Because we're supposed to be in a high-scoring area, right? It's supposed to be an high-scoring era where the players are supposed to have basically free reign.
Yeah.
Right? And
before we get too far into this one, what's your prediction for this round? The 4 teams you got now, before we can get too far into it, I guess we can make a prediction here.
I think I told someone, I was like, I think Chicago's going in 7, and I'd like to see Pittsburgh go in 7. I'm a huge fan of Jarome Iginla, who I know he's from where he came from, where you're from, but he's been there for so long, he deserves to win. And at any rate, I think he deserves a cup right now. And so I'm pulling for Pittsburgh.
All right.
For sure. What about you?
I'm going to have to go against my heart, and I'm going to say to me Boston in 6.
Yeah.
But Chicago's going to take LA in 5.
In 5, really? So
LA will take 1 game back home, but that's it.
See, for me, those, beyond Chicago winning in Detroit, those 2 second rounds in the Western Conference, they definitely, it was a winner, win at home, right? Lose on the road, win at home. And I don't think Chicago's going to break that. I don't know if they'll be able to win in LA.
I think they will, and then when they do come back to the Madhouse, it will be just that Chicago-style hockey. Because LA has not been able to keep up so far.
Yeah, that's very true. They looked really bad last night.
Yeah, and an example of that the first game. What was it? 14-2 after one period for shots, then 30-14 after the second.
Yeah.
I mean, Chicago was just coming out firing on all cylinders, and it looks like LA hasn't been ready for this at all.
Yeah. What do you think of Sidney Crosby's play in the playoffs?
He's doing what Sidney will always do. He's being the best in the league, and he's coming out and showing that leadership again.
I saw you do the hand quotes, man. Best in the league. What's that mean?
As you know, I am not a big fan of him and his style of play. I love what he has done for this game, yes, and what he does bring, but I am not a personal fan.
Mm-hmm.
The attitude, the ethic, it's...
Did you see Saturday night, though? Let's talk about that game. Let's talk about Saturday night in Pittsburgh for Game 1 against Boston. I mean, to me, that is not a Pittsburgh hockey game. The way they were playing.
No, it does not look like women's hockey at all.
I mean, Malkin dropped the gloves against Bergeron. That's a fight you never expect to see.
No.
Right? And then I think right at the end there, Chicago went up against, Crosby went up and took a shot at Rask, right? And to me, that's Boston getting under their skin. By the way, I think Boston's leading that game right now after the first 4-1. I'll have to double check that in a minute, but
we'll look into that right now. But yeah, it's not. It's looking like Boston's doing what Boston does best and getting again under the skin of the teams that they play against.
Mm-hmm.
That is what they've been known to do. They've been, the brawlers the whole bit for the whole time, and they know that they can get under these guys' skins, and here it is. This is them doing it all over again.
And you know me. I said that I thought the Leafs were going to beat the Bruins.
Oh, so did I. Don't worry.
No, and it's true. I thought the Leafs were going to beat the Bruins because they play that same kind of style, right, where they
will play the hard-nosed hockey, and yes, it is 4-1 right now for Boston.
Okay, so I am right. Okay, and so I think that's enough playoff talk. I think we've kind of hit all the bases there. So you think it's going to be a Chicago-Boston final? Who wins?
I'm taking Chicago to take the cup all over again.
Okay, so I've picked Pittsburgh, and he's gone Chicago. I think that's an interesting. Did you hear about the stat about how it's the first time since like 1945 that the
last four cup winners are now your final four. Yeah, it's the first time. I think it's been 10 to 15 years before that's ever happened.
1945 was the last time it happened.
There we go.
So it's been a while. It just proves to you how hard the cup is to win.
And the heart and the determination it takes to get there.
Okay, so let's move on to coaching changes in the NHL. And obviously, after Vancouver's great collapse against San Jose, we knew something was going to happen. You're not surprised that Alain Vigneault got fired?
I don't think anyone really is surprised that it happened. I don't think it was the right decision, personally.
Mm-hmm.
I think it should have been a change in general. If you're going to make a change like that drastic, you do a whole house cleaning. You clean up the GM, the A, you clean it all.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see.
I honestly thought Mike Gillis was gone, and I still think he's gone. I don't think he lasts.
We don't think he'll be around much longer. But you know what? The board of Vancouver loves him.
Yeah.
So I don't know, right? That's the problem, right? Because they love him. But
I want to know what he said to them after that collapse. Like, how do you justify something like that?
Apparently, you fire your head coach.
Yeah, fire your head coach. Okay. So what do you think about the Dallas move then? Let's move on to them. The Dallas move of firing their coach. They had a bad season. You can't really say that they were, gonna last.
See, the only problem with the Dallas one is you don't know really where to put the blame on that one. The coach did what he could. There's so many contributing factors to that season collapse that it was coming up and playing into that you can't really. I don't know if I can point a finger. Mm-hmm. Personally, at where the start of everything through your problem.
My problem was with how they handled Joe Nieuwendyk. I mean, there was rumors about them hiring the guy from Detroit, who's their GM now, without even firing. I don't think they fired Joe Nieuwendyk.
That's another thing I don't like. It, like you said, the way they played it. Nieuwendyk essentially was essentially like a kid in the corner.
Yeah.
He had to sit there and wait for what was going to happen next, as the media essentially had a nice little firestorm of what, playing the rumors of what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh no, I do I agree with you there. I do not agree with how the team handled it.
Mm-hmm.
But I do believe some fresh blood behind the bench might be what this team needs.
Yeah, I thought they had a pretty good squad. I think it's just a lot of lack of leadership almost in that dressing room. I mean, they got rid of Jeremy Yager, who was probably their
essentially your most veteran player.
Their most veteran player, yeah. No one else is really. I can't really think of the roster, but I don't think anyone else on that team's been into the playoffs or been deep in that playoffs.
No, because no one stands out on that team right now. And you know what? Maybe that's why you need to bring in a fresh, younger coach that can, work with these younger guys. And maybe start of next season, you see someone pop up.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jamie Benn, but other than that, I haven't really. He's their all-star. You're saying no. Okay, so before we go on to Colorado,
you're saying no.
Before we go on to Colorado, let's go to New York Rangers. And I've talked to a few people about this. John Tortorella takes that team to the second round. They lose out in the second round. Yeah, again. They lose out in dramatic fashion. I thought that was going to go longer. I thought New York was going to take it.
It looks good going into it.
What do you think about them firing John Tortorella, and how long is Glenn Sather's job good for there?
At this point in time, when I heard, I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
I was sitting at work and a couple of things had come across, and I'm like, what do you mean? Torts got fired? No, this isn't right. Check a few sports sites. Sure enough, all over the world right now, John Tortorella is fired, and I still don't believe it. I don't know why. I think that was the dumbest move you could have done after he just personally built this team now. Bringing in Gaborik, getting rid of certain guys,
he didn't bring in Gaborik, but he got him to play, right? And,
yeah. But building what he has there now, he built himself a solid structure, and you're gonna say bye.
Well, someone said that. I mean, that he seemed to lose his team at the end of the season and in the playoffs, and yeah, I can see that point of view. But really, I mean, your starters don't play. Rick Nash plays, Rick Nash hockey, obviously. But I mean,
and they're not.
I didn't see really Gaborik anywhere. I didn't see Brad Richards anywhere, and Brad Richards was supposed to be like the next coming of Brad Richards, right? He played well in Tampa.
It was supposed to be the Reaper.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm guessing with the way you're going with this and the way you're talking about this, you are pro of the firing.
Oh, I don't like the way he handled the media at all. I mean, and I think that's a big reason behind the firing as well is how he looked in the media, and in a town like New York, how you look in the media is a big part of everything you do.
There's 4 major cities that'll do that. It's Toronto, Detroit, New York, and there's one more that can't come to mind right now, that the media is your main source.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
John Tortorella is known for being John Tortorella in a press conference, right? And that's how it's been since he started there.
Yeah.
I mean, that whenever Torts goes into the press conference and opens his mouth, something's going to happen.
Okay, so let's move on to Colorado, and this will be a good one because, from Patrick Roy takes over, I think, a week ago, and Joe Sakic gets a promotion, and Patrick Roy, a former teammate, a Hall of Fame goaltender, takes over. What do you think of this move, and how do you see it playing out? And hold on, before you answer, if you have any questions or anything to say, just type it in chat, guys. Don't be afraid. I am kind of looking over. That's where I'm looking. If you have anything to say, just type it in chat, and we'll try and answer it for you. Okay, so Matt, what do you think about Patrick Roy?
I'm gonna have to take this in a 2-parter. I'll start with Sakic getting his promotion, which I am very pro for. I love the idea of him getting it.
Yeah.
Sakic is a great player altogether, like with hockey IQ. He's got almost the same mental base as, people are gonna hate me for comparing him to this, but Steve Yzerman in that GM role.
Yeah, he's not the GM. He's not the GM.
No, but he could. You could stick him in that role.
The way that Patrick Roy said it was set up is that he's basically the GM, but he's not the GM. And Patrick Roy is basically assistant GM, but he's not the assistant GM. And then their GM just takes care of contracts, and that's from Patrick Roy's interview with That's Hockey.
Yes, but the hiring of Waugh, I am completely against.
I didn't think it was a good move either, and I'll explain why after you answer.
Okay, yes, he is a Hall of Fame goaltender. Yes, he did revolutionize. Yes, he invented the butterfly. That's all well and good. The man has the personality of a rattlesnake. I'm sorry. If you can look at the evidence of him coaching his son, he does not belong behind a bench, let alone behind a boardroom.
Like everyone, I mean, people have said, oh, he won the Memorial Cup or took his team to the Memorial Cup. You know, he took his team to the Memorial Cup because, I mean, that was just pure star power. I mean, if you're playing for Patrick Roy, you want to play well, right? Like that.
I'm sorry. Yeah, exactly. So a couple of friends at my work mentioned when we did this, you could have stuck a monkey behind the bench and got the same result.
Yeah.
When you have that kind of firepower in a junior team,
yeah,
something is gonna happen. They are gonna lead themselves.
I think that he was a good GM coach, and the reason or a junior coach. The reason I think he was a good junior coach was because he, he taught the players how to become, pros every day, right?
Yes.
And so the reason that I don't agree with it is pretty much the exact same thing. I mean, they have a young team. They've got some great young stars. Where Matt Duchene fits, I think we can go over later, but. I don't agree with the hiring. I mean, yeah, Patrick Roy is probably a good coach, but let's be serious. I think they should have hired Dallas Eakins, who is, he's a proven winner with the Marlies. He can get the job done. He's, first NHL job. He'll grow with that team. He'll help that team grow. And the Toronto Maple Leafs wouldn't be the team they are today, without Dallas Eakins.
If the farm team wasn't there to back them up. And I do fully agree with you.
And that's, I mean, hiring him, and he's been rumored. Let's talk a little bit about Dallas Eakins. He's been rumored in New York. He's been rumored in Vancouver.
Well, as of what's been happening with, Vigna be going and going up into Colorado, looking around, and Torts going, his name has been tossed around more now. But what the problem is are you really going to see them step up and take it? I don't think so.
I think he'll go somewhere. I think he'd go to Dallas as a lower key market.
I don't think by next season. I think he's still where he's going to be.
Really? I think
as much as they hate me, I'd love to see. I would absolutely love it. I don't think they see the experience that they're looking for just yet.
Yeah, and I would, I think he's going to go to Dallas. I would have loved to see him go to Colorado because
I think it would be phenomenal in Dallas. Essentially, it's right now, Dallas, as you look at it, is a thing of clay. They just need someone's got to step in and making mold. Because right now, it's putty.
Where does Lindy Ruff go? Lindy Ruff has been rumored on all three teams that are vacant coaching and will probably stay vacant for the next year or going into next season. So Lindy Ruff has been rumored.
I think Ruff will end up in New York.
New York?
I think the Rangers will pick him up.
Yeah.
His style would fit. The way he coaches is pretty much what they're looking for right now. There's what you need in New York right now is essentially a veteran voice to stand there and take control of all the egos in the building.
You know what
they talked about this last time when New York started bringing in everyone, and my first comment to you was there's too many Chiefs, not enough Indians. There's going to be too much ego in the room.
You know who I think would be a good fit in New York as the Rangers coach? Guy Boucher, who was in Tampa.
Yes.
Stamkos. And the reason I think he'd be a good coach was because he took that team to the conference finals, without really a goaltender. He gets those egos. He had, Stamkos, he had St. Louis, he had LeCavalier, right? He had
there's someone that can take these egos and go, okay, well, you know what? I like this. Yeah, cool, but I'm in charge.
And with an all-star with an all-star team, with an all-star goalie, I think he'd go far.
Oh, yeah, because he could push them the way they need to be pushed. Tortorella lost that edge.
Yeah, he really did. He was funny to watch, so let's be serious. And I hope he lands in another job.
He won't let. He is not. He'll may go one season, but that's it. Tortorella will be back in the NHL.
Really?
Back yelling at his press conference, people. Media will.
Do you think Ron Wilson will be back?
No.
No? Why not?
I think Ron Wilson had his last strike in Carolina. I think it's done.
He was in Toronto. His last strike was in Toronto.
Oh, yeah, but who else goes to Toronto to die?
Everybody.
Okay. I'm sorry. As it sits, Toronto builds players. Players.
Apparently. What do you think of Randy Carlyle while we're on the Maple Leaf topic?
I love his style. I love the defensive two-way hockey. I love all of it. that, and it's almost the old version of Pat Quinn, where he used to strike fear into his players.
Yeah.
It almost feels like that all over again, like the era of Quinn, of him taking control and taking a stranglehold of his team.
Yeah.
Give him a longer season, and a few more players to work with. I think Toronto may actually become a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I think they. I thought they were going to contend this year. Like once they made the playoffs, I thought they were going to contend, but that's just me.
You know what? For being a Leaf fan, I am happy the way things went.
Yeah.
I am surprised actually with what they won in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think Boston, being the Boston team that they are, would take control like they did in Game 1, like they did in and essentially take over again.
Mm-hmm.
The way the Leafs did fight back, I am quite proud of that team and quite proud to say I am a Leaf fan. I can't wait to see what Carlisle does with them next season.
All right, so let's move on from the hockey talk. I think we've beaten this to death. Let's go on, and this next topic I think is a good one. For those who don't know, what is it? You Can Play, You Can Play project.org.net.com.
Yes.
.net, something like that. It's basically an organization. It was set up by Brian Burke's son, Patrick Burke, in honor of his younger brother who passed away in 2010. Was the first gay man to come out in a hockey organization, although it was a university, the Miami University of Ohio, I think. And then
I can't remember the exact university, but yes,
it was. I think it was Miami University in Ohio. I'm gonna get a message or something about that. I can tell.
Yeah, someone's gonna have to correct you.
Yeah, exactly. But so he starts this You Can Play project, and nothing's really happened from it since the start. I know, Brian Burke had a lot to talk about after it came out. It came out a couple years ago on All-Star Weekend, and it's really funny because I was watching interviews, I think, of it the other day, of Brian Burke after the fact, and he's like, well, no players said no, right? And I like Zdeno Chara. I don't have Zdeno Chara's phone number. I had to go to Peter Chiarelli, right, who's the Boston GM. And then, he put me in touch with Chara, and Chara was like, yeah, absolutely, right? Like, we'll fully get behind that. And it's great to see, and the reason we're talking about this is coming up. So, obviously hockey players are behind it. Recently, like, I guess in January, or it was after that, an NBA player who is currently unemployed right now, but he'll be back in the NBA next year, came out in an article or a letter to Sports Illustrated, and basically said that he was gay and that he'd been battling coming out for years. And then a gay soccer player came out and said that he was gay, and so this gay soccer player, his name is Robbie Rogers, and he is now known as the first male athlete to play a North American major sport as a gay man. Where do you think this is going with sports and gay athletes, and in particular, like, more, like, I don't want to say soccer is a sissy sport, but it's got a different culture than hockey and something like football, where, right?
But you know what? Every sport's going to have their own culture to it, right?
Obviously.
No matter what you look at, right? Soccer, there's the old saying that, soccer is a gentleman's game played by hooligans, yet rugby's a hooligan's game played by gentlemen, right? Stuff like that, just kind of, no matter what, your culture and your sport's going to be completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Where I think this is going to go, I think we can go nowhere but up, especially right now with what's going on, with the equality in gay marriage and stuff like that going on in North America right now. That's been essentially a huge topic.
Oh, God, a side note. I love those pictures of Facebook statuses where, like, gays are, nasty, and the Bible says they can't happen, and then someone's like, well, it says, no sex before marriage, and you're a slut, so... Like, I love those pictures make you laugh every time.
If, has had sex before marriage.
Yeah.
Stuff like, right? And it's true, right? Like, if we lived off our Bible, I'm sorry, I'm probably going to cross a few lines here, but if we went word for word by the Bible, I'm sorry, I wouldn't be here talking. I'm sure Alex, our 3 viewers would be sitting there going, yep, done. But it would completely change things. And you know what? As human beings, here we go again. Darwin said the evolution, right?
Yeah.
The fittest will survive, and that's how we've gotten here so far. And it's not been by what a book says. So right now, equality is our biggest thing.
I think it's a whole Robbie Rogers, or not what was his name? They just had a movie made about him, man. And the baseball player, the black baseball player. I think it's going the same way as that. That's what I'm trying to say. I forget his name. I'm going to get a message right now. I swear to God.
Number 43.
Number 42.
Anyway.
It's 42.
Anyway.
But I think it's going the same way as that. I think now that someone's out, right? Like it's going to be more common. And
right, there's no big difference for it. It's your sexual preference is your sexual preference. Yeah. Whether you're gay, straight, or bi, it shouldn't affect how well you play a game.
Yeah, it should, and it doesn't.
I'm sorry, if you have, let's say soccer, right? You are an amazing soccer player.
David Beckham.
Because I'm gay, I can play. No, it doesn't work like that. I'm sorry. It doesn't. It's
yeah.
Gay, straight, bi, or tri. No matter what, if you're good at a sport, you're good at a sport, and you know what? If you can make money doing it, more fucking power to you.
I think it's going to lead to the same thing. I forget his name, but I mean, eventually there's going to be gays in other sports. I'm curious to see how it affects like a hockey locker room, because I've been a part of it. Matt, you've been a part of a hockey locker room. You know exactly what goes on and what kind of shit happens. And I don't know if it would change the dynamic of a room, right? Especially in like the NHL, where everyone's macho and
something like that. You go back to the argument that Don Cherry has been having for the past 2 weeks of women in the locker rooms.
Yeah, Don Cherry's a fucking tool, though. I'm not a Don. Let's not talk about him right now.
Here we go, cross lines again.
I don't like Don Cherry for the fact that he says and does things that bother me, and the way he's just old and over the hill, personally, right?
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people have a lot of respect, and I'm gonna get fucking hate for this, but I just don't like Don Cherry, and it's a fact.
It is.
Jason, someone just said Jason Collins is out now too. Yeah, he was the NBA player I was talking about.
Thank you.
But he is not currently playing in the NBA. He's an unrestricted free agent. I remember that fact.
Yes, the soccer player is the only one that is currently actually playing.
By the way, that's the guy. Another guy I want to have on. I know. I just said that. I said that earlier. That is Craig Smith. He will be joining us for our next episode, whenever that is. Talking in chat. Yeah, he will be playing in September. Jason Collins, the NBA player, he will be playing in September. He's currently not on a roster though. That's
not at the moment.
So
that's the big thing. That's why they made this such a big stink. Yes, he can go, but he's not in a locker room right now.
And Robbie Rogers had retired from soccer in January and then was recruited by the LA Galaxy to play. And I've read things from their players and they seem completely fine with it. But again, it's a different culture, it's a different sport, right? And
that's why you're gonna have to wait and see how this all turns out. Because you know what, there will be a hockey player that comes out, or a football player, or come September when he does. If now, what's gonna happen is this gonna be the reason he doesn't get signed?
No, I don't think. I think he gets signed no matter what. He's a backup. He's a good veteran backup, and
exactly. You know what? With this being out in the open now,
yeah,
there's gonna be a lot of media fire come September now. As we're getting close to these free agent signings, a lot of media fire is gonna be focused on the fact of his sexual orientation. No getting around that.
I just got a Facebook message. It was Jackie Robinson was the movie.
Thank you.
42. I'm not going to say who said that, but it was Jackie Robinson. Yes.
We know.
Thank you to who told me. Okay. Yeah, and I think it's great for sports. It's great for everything. I think it'll push equality farther in the States if they have a pro athlete that is gay.
In North America in general, you can't even single out the United States of America. It's going to be in North America in general. It's going to be a huge push for equality.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So Matt, I know you're a Jays fan, and I know you're hurting.
Not hurting yet, buddy. Not hurting yet.
Well, what do you think of their awful start? I mean, it's been bad. Like, let's not sugarcoat this.
Would I call it awful? No. You know what? Let's call a spade a spade. Yes, it has not been the start that we were all looking for when they came out, when they signed R.A. Dickey, when Melky Cabrera came on, right? Jose Reyes, they're looking at this team on paper is unstoppable. But if you look at every team on paper, I'm sorry, your champions that you have nowadays aren't going to be there.
It seems like a Toronto curse of teams in Toronto that, I mean, injuries just seem to pile up and pile up and pile up. And I went to a Jays game last year and I recognized 3 players. And I was like, well, this is dumb.
Now, if you do look at okay, as you not being a huge bigger Jays fan, that anyone is out there can argue with me. And if you look at the play they've had as of lately, Melky has upped his batting average. The last little stint in San Diego where they went 14 innings in one game, 12 innings in the next, 11 in the game after that.
But
they're starting to make their push,
yeah.
But it's not all there. What you're not going to get out of this season, what the city wants. I can guarantee you that. Being a Jays fan, I've come to this I know as you look at the way they're playing, they will make a push. Yes, they are not going to be what the city is looking for this season.
And does that put pressure on Alex Anthopoulos?
Oh, and it puts pressure on the whole team.
Yeah.
Not just Anthopoulos is going to feel it. Gibbons is going to feel it. Your stars are going to feel it. Everyone in that locker room is going to be feeling the pressure.
I don't know if I'm disappointed. I'm not really a huge Jays fan. I'm not really a huge baseball fan. But, I mean, I was expecting much bigger things from them. And I was.
But you know what? That's our problem is we all expected so much out of this team that when they didn't come off that, oh, my God, here come the Blue Jays start,
yeah,
came into play.
Yeah. And what do you think about, the starts of other teams that, I mean, I haven't really been –
a surprising one on my end is the Yankees and their lackluster start, that is. And
aren't they at first?
Not right now.
Yeah, they are, man. They're up there.
Right?
Yeah,
they're up there, but it's not the
they're challenging.
Yankees.
I mean, it's the typical AL East that we've always had where, everyone's kind of chasing the Red Sox and Yankees. And I mean...
But that's been baseball since baseball.
That's been baseball since they switched. Since they did that, I don't know why everyone was so. And my brother says this a lot. Why is everyone so hyped? It's just baseball, right? Yeah, but you get really hyped about hockey too.
It's a love of the game. It's the fact that Toronto has something that
should be good.
Theirs. Also, it being the only Canadian team in the league.
Yeah.
I can see it bringing some hype for those, that have that national pride in what they're doing. They're the only Canadian team that they want to cheer for. They're also the closest team to certain people.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives you that home feeling. Even out here in Calgary, I count a lot of Jays flags out here.
Really? So they do have that following out there?
They have it out here. I sell Jays equipment in my stores. It's not as big as it is in Toronto, no, but it's a lot bigger than I thought it would be.
Who would you think they would cheer for out there?
If anything, if they're chill for the Mariners because they're the closest team.
Yeah, Mariners and Twins, right?
The Twins kind of. It's not too far from here. Seattle's a little closer.
Seattle is definitely closer, yes.
Right, you can get to Seattle in about 4 hours. So I'm pretty sure that's been. I haven't seen anything Mariners out here though.
Yeah, but I mean that's typically Canada's feel. I mean they go for their
home teams and they'll stick
team, right? And so wait, let's talk about something. I skipped over this when we were talking about soccer. Let's talk about. Did you hear what happened at BMO Field between Canada and U.S. on Sunday?
You mean Canada versus Alex Morgan?
Yes, I mean Canada versus Alex Morgan. Did you hear what the fans did though?
No, I didn't. I was working.
So the backstory behind this is in the London Olympics in 2012, the Canadian soccer team, the Canadian women's soccer team, basically almost beat the U.S. If it wasn't for a bad referee call, beat the team. And the bad call was, I mean, it was awful. I was watching the game live. It was pretty bad. So basically, rule in soccer is the goalkeeper can't hold the ball for longer than 6 seconds.
6 seconds in their hands.
And so the Canadian keeper, whoever she was, I don't know the name off my top of my head, held the ball for like 10 seconds or something, with the U.S. captain counting, and then the referee called it after the 10 seconds were up, and which gave the U.S. a free kick, which they scored on, and then they went back down and scored on a penalty kick to win the game 4-3. So now we go into BMO Field, and we go into Canada-U.S., and it was billed the rematch. It didn't really turn out that way. Was it 4-1 or 4-0?
To be completely honest, not entirely sure.
There was 4 goals scored. There was 3 by Alex Morgan and 1 by someone else. A Canadian-born American, by the way.
Yeah.
That's who scored the other goal. So, Alex Morgan's a phenomenal soccer player, by the way, like best in the world. And
gorgeous too.
It was 3-0. So it was 2 goals by Morgan and 1 by that other player.
Julianne something. All that.
Anyway, so every time the U.S. keeper touched the ball inside her 18-yard box, the fans started to count. And they got to 10 seconds like several times, and there was no call made. And the Canadian coach after the game was talking to the media and was joking like, we had that Norwegian referee, we would have had like 6 or 7 free kicks and
the count being done out loud.
I mean,
I love Canadian sports fans.
That's Canadian sports fans. That's what I was gonna say. That's Canadian sports fans for you. I mean, I go to hockey games or soccer games or rugby games, and I do that, right? Like, I mean, what do you think of that though? And
it's awesome. It's it's again the fans having fun with it. You know what? You are gonna hold a grudge no matter what. It's every sport has it. You have those little things you're gonna do.
What do you think about Canada coming out flat though, as flat as they did?
It's almost expected and predictable.
Wow.
We are not known for our soccer skill at all. We are not known to have a good soccer. We've had some very decent players over the years, yes, but it's never been something that we can always say, yeah, here we go.
Who do you bill as the best soccer player in the world right now then? I mean, there's a lot of talk of Alex Morgan. There's a lot of talk of Christine Sinclair. Who takes that title?
It really depends, because if you look at 2012, and they went, and her and even Wambach were going just head-to-head and just banging away, and Alex Morgan is still young and still has so much more she can do.
Like
and
23 or something, isn't she?
Is she not? No, she's 22 a little bit.
Really? See, Matt,
yeah.
You've been checking her out, haven't you?
Yes, Matt has.
You Google that shit, don't you? Don't lie to
me. Matt's gonna marry her one day. Don't you worry.
You're not. I think
Alex Morgan. Just so you know, this is the face you're gonna be marrying soon.
I think Adam has a better chance at that than you.
Oh.
By the way, Adam. I was talking to another buddy of ours. Adam. He was gonna join us tonight, but he had to work. Like another person had to work. He was already at work though. But he did tell me that he will come on and join us, so we'll be expecting him one night.
Essentially our soccer guru.
Yeah, he follows a lot of European soccer, which I've never really got into soccer. I mean, I played a high level. I've coached it, I've refereed it, but I never really got into the watching soccer.
I'm in for a bit of it, I have my European team. Like, I've done the same as you. I've coached, I've played, I've rapped. It's never been like a drive or a passion. I will say, on a Saturday morning, if it's on, yeah, cool, I'll sit down and watch the Manchester United game and, cheer for the club. And I do have a couple of jerseys, buy them.
I can't sit down and watch them. I mean, I
can. It can be really good to watch. I will watch the World Cup.
I will watch the World Cup, yes. And
completely different class of soccer.
Next World Cup's 2014?
Yep, in Rio.
Yeah. What do you expect? What do you expect from that? Do you think the Spaniards are going to steal another one?
I'm not sure. I think Germany's going to have a huge chance, a lot more to prove again, because Germany's got that firepower. Spain is Spain. That's just going without saying.
Yeah.
You can also argue if Italy's going to bring a real team this year, because of the controversy of who didn't get the call-ups for Italy at the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's really going to come down to essentially getting, as we get closer to it,
who's
what
going,
what these coaches are going to start doing and stuff like that.
Just as a side note, the Canadian men's soccer team was in the last made it to the last qualifier and then got beat out. I think Mexico and U.S. qualified from North America.
Yeah, where we are getting closer, which is a great thing to see from what we've been, say 10 years ago to how we're doing now.
Yeah.
We're starting to show a better, higher class of player, which is great for the Canadian citizen. Great for Canadian soccer.
Yeah, but I don't think it'll never be on that next level, right?
We can't say that.
I don't think it will. I don't think it'll get to the next level. Not in the way. I think there's other sports in front of it, such as like football, like American football, that'll have that next level. I mean, the first Canadian-born player out of a Canadian university was drafted in the NFL a few years ago, and I remember talking to someone about it, and he was like, well, I was watching in the draft, and they drafted this guy from University of Western Ontario, and like the broadcaster was like, I've never seen this guy before. Get me some game tape. Let me look at him. Blah blah blah.
Give me something.
And so I mean, there's a lot more of that. Canada's already got a few elite basketball players in the NBA. I mean, Steve Nash, he won 2 MVP titles back to back. Obviously, one of the best basketball players of all time. One of the best Canadian basketball players of all time. There's been a couple recent guys from
the kid that came out of Brampton, Ontario, that played in the first round of the NBA playoff.
He plays in Cleveland, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yes. Went to my high school, actually.
Did he really?
Yes, he did. He was a Harold Pathway graduate.
Let's not talk about guys that went to Brampton high schools. Fucking Tyler Sagan. Throw that one out there.
Throw your stab, why don't you? Throw a stab.
I'm gonna throw lots of stabs, I think, on this show, man. I'm not a Sagan fan, and I love Phil Kessel. He's my boy. Okay. By the way, we've been doing this for 40 minutes.
Price is available. Keep on going.
Yeah. Okay. So our last topic, as we're talking about the NFL, is Tim Tebow, who I was a huge Tebow supporter in Denver, and I'm not a big football fan, but I really liked what he did in Denver, where he rallied them, and then he kind of goes like, they're kind of like, oh, you were like a good quarterback, but and
Peyton Manning's better.
But Peyton Manning's better. We don't want you anymore, so we're going to ship you off to New York Jets. And the New York Jets were like, well, you're going to play second string to Mark Sanchez, who sucks anyway. So, and now they're down like, I think they played like their third string quarterback for 2 games or something. Like, just ridiculous.
It's painful to watch the Jets play now. It's getting bad.
Yeah.
Tim, the rumors are flying now that Tim Tebow just come play in the CFL.
Okay.
I'm sure my Stampeders will hire you, no problem, my friend.
Who's that?
The Stampeders?
Oh, the Stampeders. Oh, see, I don't know Stampeders. I know I don't know much about the Stampeders, but anyways. So he gets cut. Tim Tebow gets cut from the New York Jets after this season. Is Mark Sanchez still there? Sanchez?
For now, yes, he is. Rumor is he won't be there much longer, but Rex Ryan loves him, so Mark Sanchez, so he ain't going on.
Okay. Anyways, so Tim Tebow, where do you think he's going to end up? I've heard a lot of rumors of the Jacksonville.
I'm standing behind my point of you'll see him in the CFL.
You know what?
What's going on? I do believe he will go to Montreal.
Yes,
actually,
that's what I've been saying. Is Montreal would be a great destination for him, and the CFL, I think, for his style of play, would be a great destination for him.
Oh, he's perfect. They have a wider field. He can't miss. That's always been his issue. You need to widen the field about 5 yards, and Tebow was golden. You know what? The CFL does
How
that.
will he handle the bigger ball? And don't make a fucking joke about that.
And I'm not going to comment on that one. We'll see how he does, okay? We'll leave it at that.
The problem.
Jokes will write themselves as soon as he throws his first pass. Especially coming off the last topic we had, too.
Okay, so how long do you think Anthony Calvillo has then in Montreal? I mean, he's like 41 now.
I think this will be his last season.
Yeah. So would Tim Tebow be a good replacement for him?
I think he will be the awesome replacement for him.
Why?
Awesome replacement.
Why?
Just like his style of football. He doesn't like to run these big fancy plays. He doesn't. He likes to play, straight up a post route here and there. But that's more his style. And Montreal runs the same style of, running gun offense. It's that quick strikes. And Tebow was perfect for that.
The only problem is the money. I mean, the CFL is so limited by what they can do with their cap, right? I mean, their cap's set at like $3 million. Where I don't know if I don't think the NFL has a cap. I think they might.
I don't know if it is, but you either get paid to play or you don't get paid.
Yeah, or you go pump
gas
somewhere, right?
That's how Tim's I look at it.
Bible
paid to play.
That's the only problem with him, though, is his Bible loving. I'm just going to say Bible loving from now on. What?
Send him to Montreal. I'm sure they love their Bible loving too.
With all their strippers?
Exactly. Hey, you could send him here and teach him some real class, or send him to Montreal. Take your pick.
We crossed a lot of lines tonight, Matt.
Oh, buddy, we're only getting warmed up. You wait till we get the rest of us on here.
Oh, God.
About all the personality we have.
So, okay. Anything else you want to talk about? Any shoutouts?
Well, we have nothing yet. Like you've been saying, it's the first show, really trying to get our feet under what we're going to be talking about, getting people to pay attention, come in, ask questions, stuff like that. As we get going, this will get a little better. So
I'm a little sad we only have 3 viewers. I did put that Reddit post up. I was kind of hoping for a little more.
Well, you know what? The fact that 3 is better than you and me just sitting here talking to each other about nothing. So thank you to those 3 who did actually stick around and listen and watch.
Well, the one guy, it's really bad because the one guy's he's going to be on the next show for sure. I'm going to make sure he's available. I don't know when the next show is going to be yet. I haven't quite figured that out.
You gotta figure out schedules and stuff like that.
I'm kind of hoping either like a Monday night or a Sunday night.
Yeah.
I was telling people about at work. I told one guy about it at work, and he was like, "Well, as long as it's not on Friday night and I'm not hammered, then." And I was like, "Okay, right."
That's why it can't be Fridays or Saturdays for me.
Yeah.
Thursdays.
It'll probably end up.
We'll understand.
It'll probably be up Sunday nights or Mondays. As for, you can watch this on YouTube as well. We will be posting the videos on there if you want to watch again. I don't think you will because Matt's ugly. So.
I'm pretty sure our cursing will get us pulled off.
We haven't cursed, have we?
Yeah.
What?
There's been a few times.
No.
Yep.
I think someone's going to correct me here.
Tyler Sagan comment.
Oh, yeah.
For starters.
Oh, I hate him with a passion. As long as I don't think we'll get Paul. Dude, people swear on YouTube all the time. All the time.
Then put us up on YouTube. We'll be just fine.
Yeah, the YouTube channel is the exact same as what you're watching right now. It's GAA Sports Talk. Just put YouTube in front, YouTube.com in front of it. You'll be able to catch some content there. I don't know how I'm gonna let people know about the next episode yet.
It'll be out somewhere.
Just checking this channel out next week, on the weekend maybe. If you're not doing anything, check on it. I will update it to say when the next show will be. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else to talk about. I'm really happy this finally worked out. I've been talking about doing this for a while. We've
both been kind of getting into it, so
I'm definitely thinking about doing a solo podcast. So I'll be looking for that as well. I'll probably put that on this channel as well. Not live, but I will update the title so it does say what we're talking about, and if I do a solo podcast, we'll see. Other than that, I'm really sad that Craig and Colin couldn't join us tonight. Adam couldn't join us as well. I'm looking to get those guys on. Colin and Craig will be on next week.
You will next week.
You will be on the next episode for sure. I will make sure that we scheduled around them. I mean, Colin was supposed to be tonight, and he had a family emergency, so that's a pass. And
big love.
Yeah, you couldn't do last night, and Greg was away, so we just decided to throw it on tonight. And now Craig's at work and can't make it on. He would be able to make it on later if we held it later, but I didn't really want to do it any later than it was. All right, so I think that's it for tonight. I think I've done all my talking. Matt, anything? Last comments?
I'm good.
You're good? All right, guys, check out my other channel. It's twitchtv.com/gainer16. I do stream a lot over there. I stream video games. Also, check out twitchtv.com/United Federation TV. That's my clan name for StarCraft 2. I am doing casting for them. Our next cast will be Saturday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. There will be a clan war. Unfortunately, I will not be casting. You'll have RK9 and X-Noob, who are great guys, great casters. They'll be casting. We will be holding a clan war tournament next weekend, I think. I haven't heard any more details. I know our leader's looking into it. And other than that, I think that's it for tonight. Check us out on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in, and I will keep you guys updated on what is going on and when the next episode will be. It'll either be next Sunday or Monday, or 2 weeks Sunday or Monday, depending on how I feel and time frames and what else I'm doing. All right, Matt, thank you for coming out, and
anytime. I'll see you next week.
See you guys later.